So, the last two chapters of Game of Thrones. I believe it surprised most of the people around the world. It surprised me very much to see Daenerys so horrifying, representing the evil itself. Atom bomb explosion made by a dragon and by an insane leader, Daenerys. The world needs a real leader. Maybe the world needs someone that sees the whole picture. The question, who is the ideal leader for humanity? This leader doesn't act from revenge, doesn't care about his or her desires, and most important, doesn't act from ideology, from a specific perspective of what is the absolute truth, the ultimate truth and justice. No. The absolute truth and justice doesn't exist. You have so many perspectives, and it's so risky because you become the most horrible murderer like Daenerys became, just because she is so convinced that she only the one that can lead to the truth. And if she already got the power to do it, as she told Jon Snow a few seconds before he killed her, she said, well, I have the power now, so it doesn't matter what are the truths of other people. Jon Snow stepped out of his own addiction to a strong emotion of love. And between us, in our own life, be sincere with yourself. Won't we find ourselves many times addicted to love, or finding the prices to pay going out of relationship or love so hard to just stop and ask, is it good for us? And here Jon Snow have to step out of his naivety, of the way to depress and to not observe what really is going on with Daenerys. There was a moment where he understood that now he is really choosing love. Love that is much bigger to a specific woman or man. Love that is bigger than any admiration or passion. Love to life, love for peace, love for harmony between people. Jon Snow is a real leader. But it doesn't stop there, because after he kills Daenerys, we see that everybody chooses Bran to be the leader of all the 7 kingdoms. What is a message for us as viewers when they are doing such a choice? Well, I will tell you my opinion. Educate us through experience. Through the experience of all this amazing series, and especially through the last few episodes, they educate us that when you have an agenda, when you have a specific point of view, and you are sure that you have to go with it, you will become the most insane, evil person in the world. And Bran is exactly the opposite. He's not in the ego. He's not in the place of going and preaching for a specific truth, because he sees all the perspectives. Through the 3 eyes raven, Bran sees everything that happened to humanity in its special imaginary perspective of Game of Thrones reality. And he sees all the different people and all their different perspectives and all their different truths, and he sees objectively. He learned from history. He doesn't learn like all the retarded and stupid schools around the world that educate us in history lessons as students. We learn and we get the demand to remember all the dates and all the stupid names of different leaders during history, and to learn a lot of information. But what is really matter? To know the dynamics, to see where different choices took us, because we are doing the same mistakes again and again, because every generation is certain that we discovered the truth of all times, and we are discovering things that were discovered so many times, and we have the opportunity to stop it. The people who created Game of Thrones begging us, listen, watch, through our experience that we gave you as a viewer. When we want a real leader, we need one that understands all the history. And it's better if it could be one that even sees inside his soul all the perspectives and understand that there is nobody who owns the truth. Nobody who owns the justice. because it all brings to the same place. Horrible violence, horrible evil actions. So Bran, he brings different perspective. He doesn't care about right or wrong. He doesn't care about this perspective or another one and to prove it right, prove it as the ultimate truth. He just wants to keep peace. He just wants to stop the misery. And so he is the best leader. And nobody preach and says that the best leader will not choose violence, because sometimes you need to protect yourself. But nobody also says that great leader need to be all the time gentle and with mercy. Everything is possible, but you have to look at it objectively, with no agenda to prove to the world or to other people. Not representing yourself proudly as belong to this religion or this group of people in this geographic location or another. We see that somehow the perspective is lost many times when we get obsessed. And it's so beautiful to see that the only person that experienced an amazing freedom is Arya. Because Arya got to the point where she wanted to be in the same place that we see her already for few seasons, where she is more and more revengeful, and she has more and more ability also to be revengeful on all the nasty people that destroyed her family or risked her. But when she met the Hunt, the dog, on the way to kill Cersei, and he says to Arya, let go of it. You will just die with her. Cersei going to die anyway. Run away from it. Save yourself from this obsession with revenge. And suddenly Arya holds herself and she chooses life. She chooses her own life, and on the way to discover this choice, it reveals to her. She gets all this horrible, real vision of destruction, of death, of fire, of violence. And she goes through the streets and all these dead people, and she basically understands all the energy that she just let go from. Her destiny allowed her to let go and to be free from obsession to revenge. And so, she's open and free to go and discover new frontiers of thoughts outside of the box, of thought that doesn't give you anything relevant, because any thought is stupid and limited. She's going beyond the drawn or their maps, and she's saying, I want to go beyond what our maps have. I want to discover new territories. And she's going openly to discover something that cannot be held in any specific point of view or idea. So she is going to find the unknown. And Bran is going to remember all that is known and not to allow any specific truth to become an ultimate and absolute reality. And this is the harmony. It's really a blissful situation. It doesn't mean everybody are happy or in kind of an amazing high. No, they have a lot of sadness. They saw a lot of horrible things, and they want to allow something else to happen. Everybody gets their price for what they did. We see how Jaime Lannister, even if he changed himself to be a better person, eventually he finds himself dead with Cersei. Why? Because he still loves her. Because he's not a leader, a real leader, like Jon Snow, that going beyond his love to Daenerys and able to kill her. No. Jaime just go after Cersei. But one of the things that hold his ego, that hold his need to continue on the same path of going with his love to a woman that is so evil, Cersei. Jaime did this path because he still feels shame and blame on all what he did. So in a way he wants to punish himself. And that is true. When we feel a lot of inner hatred, We want to punish ourselves, not only the others. It's going either way. Daenerys, she was full of anger and hatred to the world. After killing Missandei in front of her eyes, after killing one of her dragons, she was revengeful. She got obsessed exactly like Arya stopped being obsessed in the episode before the last one. Now they have a chance for a new world. Leaders in our world mostly will not do an action that will ruin for them to enjoy the good life, the connection with the rich people behind the scenes of their political reality. Jon Snow sacrificed it all. Kill his heart in order to stop killing in the real world. Let's get inspired.
You are my queen. Now and always.
We can really get a lot of appreciation for the creativity and the spirituality and the manipulative way the creators of Game of Thrones brought us from a place of violence that everybody can criticize as it's a horrible TV series, how can people watch it, it's so horrible and violent. But through that path, they could really show us and make us understand a different perspective, which we cannot experience as in our own real life. We cannot understand things without really experiencing them. So basically, if we look at the politicians in our world, how many of them will sacrifice, in your opinion, their own pleasure, all the things that they can benefit from being leaders, all their connection with rich people, different kind of interests? They won't. They will not sacrifice their life, most of them not. So they are not really leaders. Who are real leaders? People seeking the way to prove everybody that there is not specific truth. But the truth is that we are not Democrats or Republicans. We are not left party or right party. We look at reality, and reality changes all the time. And sometimes we have to be violent to protect ourselves. And if we are stronger more than other people, why won't we save our life? This is the truth. Life are very violent and frightening sometimes, and cruel, and sometimes we can choose love. And then we have to do it all power, full power on, giving all the gas to it. But the price Jon Snow did is really not something we can see a lot. Jaime Lannister couldn't do it. He was addicted to his love to Cersei, and loving his own feeling of self-blame, fault, self-hatred. He felt like he deserved it. He even said it to Bran of Tarth when she really wanted him to stay with her in Winterfell, but he couldn't. And he said that the main reason beyond Cersei is his self-hatred, self-criticism on what he did. Sometimes we have to forgive ourselves in order to stop hating others. And this is a big lesson. So where can we find a politician that knows all the history, that really educate himself not to do, or herself, not to do the same mistake that happened again and again during our long and stupid history? How much time mankind will continue ruin everything good just in the name of Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad? Can we stop all this anger, all this manipulation? Understanding nobody has the truth, but there is one truth that does happen all the time. We create misery all over the world. We are destructive 10 times more than what we see in Game of Thrones. And nobody really cares. Everybody is sad and they know the truth. We know who are the bad guys and who are the good guys. Bullshit. We don't know anything. And this TV series succeeded to prove it to us. It doesn't matter if you have an agenda, if you have a specific perspective, you lost it all. If you think that you know the truth, you lost it all. If you think you have to be all the time nice to all the different people living in the different countries around the world, you lost it all. If you think you have to be all the time violent, you lost it all. Can you just react to reality? Just look at history and trying not to make the same mistakes like Bran is doing. Let's create a better world. Another TV series that we were addicted to and inspired by, Avatar: The Last Airbender with Aang. Whoever saw this amazing animated TV series that is so spiritual, in the end of this TV series, Aang, the Airbender, is fighting, which is also the Avatar that have all the powers of all the elements. He is having the ultimate fight with the Lord of Fire, who control the element of fire. And he stopped the Lord of Fire, succeed to stop him, and he just taking from him the power to use fire powerfully against the world. He doesn't have the power anymore to create fire. And it proved something, that you can sometimes just neutralize somebody. You can just stop a murderer just by taking his power. Or in the worst case, to kill only the leader, like Arya wanted to do, to kill Cersei. But eventually, such a massive killing, it's never justified. And the fire, when you lose control on it, when you get insane with it, when you become drunk of the power of the fire, the world will be in destruction. After Jon Snow killed Daenerys, the dragon is sensing it. And the dragon arrives, and he watch and see his queen, his mother of the dragons, dead. And we are convinced we will see in a few seconds how he's just killing fire Jon Snow. But he chose not to do that. Why? Maybe because Jon Snow was a cowboy, the prince cowboy riding his brother dragon that was died in the war with Cersei. Maybe because in a way he feels him. This is the reason his brother allowed him to ride him. Maybe he feels he's part of the Targaryen dynasty. We already know that. Maybe he even senses that he is not one that can be burnt exactly like Daenerys. He was supposed to be the chosen one, right? But he chose to burn in fire the chair, the famous knife's chair, 1000-knife chair of Game of Thrones. The chair, the throne. Why? Maybe somehow he understood that all the murders, including the murder of his own mother, Daenerys, has happened because of one reason: the ambition to get this chair, to sit on this stupid chair. The chair, the throne of the seven kingdoms. And he is melting this chair. And in a way, destroying the fight for a position that's controlling everybody. Very interesting.